Hello, I'm Roger Sheley, rangeland weed ecologist with the Agricultural Research Service and the Eastern Oregon Agricultural Research Center, and I'm here to present an Eastern Oregon Ag Minute. Alfalfa is considered the queen of forages. This week, I'll discuss a little about alfalfa's history, its wondrous benefits to our environment, and some aspects of weed management in alfalfa. Remains of alfalfa more than 6,000 years old have been found in Iran, and the oldest written reference for alfalfa is from Turkey in 1300 BC. Alfalfa was brought into Greece around 500 BC by invading armies to feed their chariot war horses, and alfalfa became closely tied to the military might of Romans. The word alfalfa comes from Arabic, Persian, and Kashmiri words meaning horsepower. Arabs and Romans introduced alfalfa into Spain, and the Spanish and Portuguese later spread alfalfa to the New World during the conquest of Mexico, Peru, and Chile. Thomas Jefferson and George Washington grew alfalfa on a few acres, but it became widely grown during the gold rush of 1849 and 50. Within a few years, alfalfa became the key crop of the West. By 1900, 98% of the alfalfa was grown west of the Mississippi River. In Oregon, we grew about 2 million tons of alfalfa hay in 2004. I know you know many of the benefits of alfalfa, but I'll bet you'll be surprised just how valuable it really is to our environment. Alfalfa has a long, rich history. Did you know that physicist and Nobel Prize winner Freeman Dyson, professor at the Institute for Advanced Study at Princeton University, chose hay as the most important invention of the past 2,000 years? According to Dyson, hay and its assurance of a year-long feed supply for animals gave birth to Vienna and Paris, to London and Berlin, and later Moscow and New York. Alfalfa is not directly seen on the dinner table like rice and wheat, but this Rodney Dangerfield of crops has been a mainstay for U.S. farms and ranches for more than a century, and its importance is often underestimated by the general public. Alfalfa's deep root system and vigorous year-round canopy help protect the soil from erosion. It provides nitrogen fixation so less chemical fertilizers are applied. Alfalfa provides significant wildlife habitat and is host to many species of animals, provides an insectary for insects, and has been used to decontaminate areas with abnormally high industrial nitrates. It's surprising, but with all the beef, milk, and cheese alfalfa is used to produce, who would know that it has so many benefits to our environment too? Everyone has heard the term make hay while the sun shines, but making hay is really a year-round process, especially when it comes to weed management. The best and most cost-effective weed management practices occur between crops and before planting. It is very important to prepare fields to prevent ponding or uneven irrigation. It is important to pre-irrigate and cultivate the germinating weeds before planting, and in some severe cases, planting an annual grass or crop between alfalfa crops is valuable to provide the conditions that allow control of broadleaf weeds. Monitoring newly seeded fields for weeds is very important. Alfalfa is very competitive, and many nuisance weeds will not last. In our area, some serious weeds require treatment. Bucktrill, butyric, gramoxanone, curb, and post are all labeled for use on seedling alfalfa, and curb is used best well before weed germination. These herbicides have very specific timings of applications and restrictions, so you must follow the label very careful when using them. Weed management in alfalfa can be very expensive, but so can losses in production and quality. Once the alfalfa stand is established, the decision to control weeds using herbicides is an economic one. But early harrowing in the spring can be helpful in removing weed seedlings, and breaking up those last fall's meadow muffins makes buyers happier too. There are several herbicides for controlling weeds in established stands of alfalfa, but most are applied when the crop is dormant. Velpar is particularly suited to our country because it is very effective on many mustards, lamb's quarters, and cheatgrass. Some farmers will use the combination of Velpar and Carmax to increase control on perennial grasses and broaden the spectrum of weed control. If that package is costing substantially more than Velpar alone, I'd try both in comparison this next winter or early spring to see if it really is better. In many fields, weeds appear in clumps and patches, so maybe GPSing their location this year would help cut herbicide costs next year by guiding spot treatments. This week we've been discussing alfalfa and weed management. This plant is incredible. It supplies much of the food on our dinner table, is eaten directly as sprouts, is reported in the homeopathic literature to have many medicinal uses, and as high value for wildlife and the environment. While you're out making hay in the sunshine, know that the plant you're harvesting has been responsible for winning wars and shaping the world around us. Hay may be the most important invention in the past 2,000 years, and I hope your haymaking season is a good one. I'm Roger Sheley. Thanks for listening.